people laughed at me 3 years ago when I started YouTube. And it's baffling me that you are now on YouTube, you see, because you're short-sighted.
All right, guys, welcome to another interesting episode of It's a Wrap, and it's a beautiful conversation today. And it's not in your regular set, but let's just get into it. My guest is, she's she's done quite a bit in the industry, and I'm sure you know her, so I don't want to, delay the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruth Kadiri. How are you?
I'm fine.
No, good to have you. Now, for those that do not know, I've been pursuing this for a long time, so you know how important this is. And it had to happen before the year ends because I wasn't ready to take it to 2025. Thank you very much for allowing this to happen. Let's talk about Nollywood. I like to have Nollywood conversations.
You asked me to relax, so you too, you have to relax.
Oh, I am. I'm relaxed now.
Okay.
I'm relaxed. So Nollywood, you've been in the space for quite a while.
Yeah.
And you've sojourned from an actor to, a producer to directing. You've actually done everything. And now you're big on distribution as far as your own space is concerned in the film space. Now, I want you to tell me one thing. Let's start this way. What do you think is the major problem the industry is facing now, 2024?
I would say more talk and less work.
Okay. So you feel like there's a lot of people talking and...
yes.
So how do you mean more? Just elaborate for me.
We all have opinions about how everything should be done.
Right.
But not so many people are actually putting in the work. People just want to glamorize the places that they feel is productive and get as much as they can get out of that space. And not think about how do we extend, how do we get our structures deeply rooted, how do we ensure that we're not just eating today, but there's continuity. So that's
something you talked about.
The majority of the people think that way, and that's it.
And you talked about eating today.
Yeah.
And for me, it feels like there's this thing about people just wanting to do films for now.
Yes.
And not thinking of what the future of the industry will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you're just concerned about, let's just make the film and make the money now.
Yeah.
Right. Now, let's go to this. Let's go to the storytelling that we have in Nollywood. Now, you've seen some of my videos. I'm very critical of the stories. I feel like we don't really have to do the very rigid stories.
Yeah.
The simple stories can be the most, interesting films or interesting stories, or can make the most interesting films.
Yeah.
Now, most of the things you do on YouTube are very intentional.
Yeah.
And when I say intentional, I mean intentional with the sort of audience you're trying to attract.
Yes.
Intentionally in the actors that you have on your stuff.
Yeah.
I need to know why that is the direction that you've chosen, and why let me just stay here. I don't want to.
So there's actually no. Let me just stay here.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I had a conversation with one of my. I don't want to mention his name, and this last night, and I said I just wanted to build structure, something that was mine. I really don't like competing. I don't like competition. Yes, so that's how my head is. If everybody wants to eat from here, I'd rather move away and find something that's mine. I'm a very mine, and I actually also enjoy building things and starting up things. I'm very restless like that. So I don't have a problem with putting in the work. What am I doing with myself anyway? But if a lot more people thought that way, I think that they would have been able to add much more value to the industry than they have done today.
So would you agree that a lot of people now, we're going to YouTube now, a lot of people are on YouTube, not because of what YouTube can do as a whole.
Yeah.
What YouTube can do in the bigger picture for the industry. They're just in it for the short term and just for, the moment. Let's just take what we can. Would you agree that a lot of people are in for that?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I think people are just trying to sort themselves out. So we have a lot of people, we have the crowd mentality.
Yeah.
So where is it happening? That's just how life is for a lot of people. But I think a lot of people don't really have lives or ideas or stuff figured out, but they kind of have opinions about everything. You know, that's how I judge people. That's why sometimes when somebody's trying to advise me, it's not like I don't listen. I just feel like just so many angles to it. Yours can be right, mine can be right too. You know, before I started YouTube, I mean, a lot of people look down on that platform. Totally. Right. They would never. Why? Why? Truthfully, they don't have answers. It's just because somebody around them says no to it. You get? So that's where the crowd mentality comes. And now it looks like it's productive. Everybody is here. Why? Because people closest to them says. So that's the mentality that we're all working with, which is not bad. As long as you're not just thinking about today, you are also asking yourself, how do I add value to this platform that I am? How do I make it? How do I, you know, if you ask yourself these questions, answers will come. And then you will not just be eating. The people, the generation in front of you would also be able to benefit from it.
Now, let's talk about the couple of actors coming out on YouTube. Because, you know, they did like, in the actor verse, you know, they did like two different set of actors. They are the ones that, you know, do the YouTube films, who a lot of people don't exactly regard because they're not on the mainstream, like on Netflix or Prime or cinema, you know, and you are very particular. I mean, there's something about grooming that you do with the actors. You know, some persons, we see them first at in one Ruth Kadiri film or the other, and from there they move on to like mainstream, to cinema, or to Prime or whatever. Now tell me why it was important for you, because we see a lot of films where we see popular faces. I'm one of the fans that I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing the regular faces. I want to see new faces because I believe that there are a lot of talents out there. And you have chosen, for a large part, you have been able to, you know, that space to give a lot of young talents the chance to at least show what they could do. Tell me why it was important for you to do that as a filmmaker.
Okay, so first, I would say that's how my mind works. I'm always thinking about tomorrow, not just today. Secondly, I feel like today's generation of YouTube has been able to bridge the gap between that segregation that you talked about. Because a lot of actors that have come out from my platform, most of them have gone ahead to do big cinema films, some that are about to be released in December, and some that will come out next year. So I don't think we still have that segregation. And if anybody still does, I don't think so, because people on the big screen are also beginning to do YouTube. So everybody, it's an industry. For me, how my mind works is that if God has given me a gift, I don't get to choose who I want to pitch or sell my gift to, or show my gift to. You know, so I feel like any filmmaker or any creative who says, I only want to do big films, you know, it's probably you just limiting the talent that God has given you. Because I see myself as a blessing. I see myself as a tool that God is probably going to use to bless the life of someone. You know, so why would I limit myself to a couple of people who can afford to pay for it? You know, so if I wake up today and they say that, oh, there's a group of people who are able to be blessed with my talent and they live in the moon and they are just 5, I will still sell to them regardless. So that's how my mind works. Not that any other person who begs to differ is wrong, though. You know, I mean, our rights is our rights and our wrongs is our wrongs.
But can you tell me what is, because there's this sentiment about YouTube films that people have. People feel for the most part it's low budget. They feel like the story, they feel like it's low part, like it's not even. So that's why when you're talking about actors, for some reason, they probably would not regard those who are not exactly popular but have been in a number of YouTube films. They'll probably talk about the ones where, you know, the ones that we see on the VOD platforms more. So tell me why that is. And, you know, because I need to understand, is it that the films on YouTube are not, like, they cannot compete? I think that's the word. They cannot compete on that VOD level. Like, they can't compete with like Netflix films. I've seen some films, by the way, that I think can.
I feel that anybody who thinks that way has low self-esteem, and it has nothing to do with how you choose to see someone. It has to do with how you choose to see me doesn't define me. I don't know if you understand. True, and how I choose to see you also doesn't define you. So like I said, I think that things are changing drastically. I mean, this is the Gen Z era. Who cares about you? YouTube actually has a larger reach than a lot of the platforms that they're at. So I kind of think it's low mentality that keeps you burning in a direction.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's right and it doesn't mean it's wrong. Do you get? So YouTube is a blessing. It's a platform for creatives. It's a blessing. How you choose to use it is entirely up to you. If you want to make low budget films, that's your choice. If you want to make big budget, there's an audience, there's a market there. I mean, it gives you the wings to fly. If you choose not to fly, it's your choice. Do you get? And so while I'm doing the work, if you want to create an opinion, it's also your choice.
So I mean, for the most part, would you consider yourself maybe fortunate to be one of the leaders or one of the, when they talk about YouTube, they mention Ruth Kadiri. So would you consider that? I think it's a good thing that I started this thing now, because like you mentioned, a lot of people saw it back then and didn't think that it was viable. So would you say, or I mean, do you constantly just wake up and be like, God, thank you? Tell me about it.
I do. I also, I don't know.
Because now there's a lot of people doing it.
Producing movies before YouTube. Sure. So I feel like, okay, well, when God spoke to me about it, I'm grateful I listened.
Yeah.
And I'm also not a lazy person, because it also took a lot of work.
I can imagine.
So it's not just I started and we struggled with 5K views, 10K views, Now we're doing millions. It didn't start like that. We had to draw in the audience. We had to expand, which brings me to the question that you asked. I noticed that a lot of our viewers were between 24 and 40, which is good, but I needed a new set of crowd. I needed them. And in order to get them, I had to work with those people. And before now, we didn't really have the young industry blooming. We'll have the likes of Emekike wearing uniforms and stuff like that. So, but I wanted the Gen Z audience and I went for it. And it's also part of the things that has also expanded the crowd on YouTube. More people. So I was very intentional with whatever I was doing.
Yeah, so something you mentioned about the you see the veterans trying to play like younger roles.
Yeah.
I think it's been an issue with Nollywood for a long time, where they cannot actually get like young people. Sometimes I talk about why don't we have like young actors who've actually grown up to become big actors. I can mention a few, maybe the likes of Regina Daniels, Williams the Chamber, maybe Destiny Tigger. A lot of them, or like we have in Hollywood, where you see them start from small and they grow. I don't think we have that thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't. But like I said, 2024 has been a very defining moment. Between 2023 and 2024 has been a very defining moment for the industry. A new crop of actors have grown, and I believe in grooming people early, but there are also risk factors involved in decisions like this. When I'm not going to go into that, but there are risk factors involved in it as well. So it's always a good thing. People are now beginning to see their opportunities. A lot of investors were probably very scared when they want to invest their money. It's also the fear of, if I spend this amount of money, will I get it back? I'd rather just invest in a safe haven than take the risk. So I think we filmmakers should learn to take more risks. And it's not just in terms of actors, it's also in terms of every other thing that we do, every decision that we make. Creativity and money, it goes hand in hand, but sometimes it doesn't. You have to have a bit of madness in you to be able to push your narrative out there and to get it accepted.
Okay, now let's talk about the actors you're working with, the younger ones.
Yeah.
I've not been on a number of sets, but I've been on one that still sticks in my head. Where we're working with young people, talking about these new age actors. Yeah. And sometimes I cringe with how they behave. Yeah. I'm like, I cannot work with this person, which is why I'm critiquing films, because I did something in filmmaking, some course, whatever. And I wanted to do film properly. But I go into the industry, I'm like, nah, this is not for me. Because I don't have the patience for this. That's why I just say, let me talk about the challenges that we're facing rather than focus on having to make another film. And I know how we can be working with certain actors. And I need you to help me understand. How has it been working with this young set of people? I'm talking about in delivery, in attitude. Because there's this attitude thing that this new set of actors have. As a producer, how has it been working and managing them?
Okay, so I kind of feel like every human being, regardless of the age, they all have their stuff that they are dealing with.
Right.
So I'm not, I have worked with so many people to know that they have their high moments and their low moments.
Right.
And I'm not one to judge you by your low moment. I would also expect that we can come to some sort of agreement.
Yeah.
So I would tell you that most creatives, each and every one of us kind of have our spoils.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
So the earlier you accept that, the better. So I'm just hoping that individually everybody tries as much as they can to be better, because who I am today is not who I was 5 years ago.
Right.
You know, I am much more mature in dealing with people, in handling humans and stuff like that. But we're different. And it's not even just acting. It's not just in the industry. When you're dealing with a group of people, it's like a mother who has 9 children. Of course, they're all not going to behave the same way.
Right.
You get? But in the young ones that I'm grooming, the ones that I have access to, I continue to talk to them, because what they see is how they are going to carry on.
Right.
So if they come on a platform where bullshit is tolerated, they probably just think that's the way. Most times they come into the industry, but they don't have mentorship. They don't have people who tell them how to behave, what to do and what not to do. Because most times, most people come into the industry because they're looking for freedom. So they're not necessarily getting into the industry to be groomed by somebody, which is different from what we're doing today. You know, so I can guarantee you that a lot of the young ones that I'm working with, they are actually very well behaved. Sometimes I look at them and I'm like, you're handling fame very well. Me, I have seen people get lost in 2 seconds of fame, and I've also seen them manage it well. So the more you keep talking to them, the better it is. But at the end of the day, we're all humans.
It's still left to them.
It's a free. This industry is called a free country. Work with who you can handle.
Right.
That's it.
I mean, I've met producers that will tell me that they'd rather work with this actor because this actor doesn't give them wahala.
Stress.
And they don't want to. I mean, even though they know that this actor can probably deliver, but
talent is not enough. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about the process for YouTube, because there's a lot of technicalities involved.
Yeah.
That people don't understand.
Yeah.
You talked about the growth from 5K, 10K, now is 1 million or millions. You know, so. Because people think it's just, a lot of people are going to try to go on YouTube now and trying to put films there and hope that, in about 1-2 weeks, the 10 million views will come out. So I need to understand if it's okay to share the technicalities that you have seen, which should be a process for anyone that's about to open a YouTube page as a filmmaker. And not just doing a film and dumping, because it seems like your intention. You talked about checking the age range of what people are, the kind of people on YouTube now, and making stuff for them. Yeah. So that's some level of intentionality that some other persons probably don't have. But tell me, just if you can talk about the process a bit.
So it's
the ones you can give us, of course. You can give us your.
I don't even like to really advise people on YouTube because I feel like they're not going to take it anyway. You know, when you tell somebody, be patient, build your platform. There's what they call quality of platform.
Right.
It's not just having a platform. If you want your platform to have a certain type of quality, there are things that you have to do, but people are not patient. People want 1 million views in one day, 1 million views under 24 hours. And they are beginning to do farming on YouTube right now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought it was just music. I don't know the farming.
No.
Oh, wow.
You see, how do you want me to advise that kind of person? They're going to say I'm hating. So I can't advise you. I can only continue to build myself in the way that I believe in for myself and for my future. Anything you want to do, do it.
You don't like stress.
Do it.
Okay. Let's touch on this a bit. Let's touch on the industry now and the industry then.
Yeah.
I've been privileged to speak to some of the OGs, and in terms of certain elements like professionalism then and what it is now. And there's this conversation. I mean, I just wanted to touch on it a bit. It's a conversation about it's back then it was more about the job. Yeah. It was more about the passion for the job.
Yeah.
Now it's more about the clout the clout that the job has.
Yeah.
And not exactly the passion. Do you share the same sentiment? And if you don't, or if you do,
I
tell
do.
me.
I think the quality of actors that started the industry then and now is you cannot
compare.
You can't compare. And that's also because there was much more. I think there was more discipline. There was hierarchy. There was respect.
Yeah.
Yes, and there were rules. Yeah, and then there was kind of leadership. We would kind of disagree with that. because it wasn't all, it was good, but it didn't really favor everyone. But there was structure in place in terms of how the rule of things went. And you would see it in the quality of the actors that were born then. Now, we're in a free world era, and it's not just, it's like marriages. It's the same thing as marriages then and marriages and relationships now. Things are changing. So we're just hoping that maybe 10 years or 20 years from now, when we're talking about our own industry, we will be able to say things were better now than then.
Okay.
The same thing with the economy. I mean, it's
even the same thing with the government, because some people prefer the former government to this. And it's like that. So that cycle just keeps going. Okay. Now, touching on, because for me, I feel like there's still a lot that we can do in the industry. And the reason why I don't exactly want to compare the industry, why I don't compare the industry to Hollywood, is because it took Hollywood a while to even break out properly with the crop of actors and the caliber of actors they have. But I feel like in Nollywood, for some reason, we're just running around the same cycle. And we haven't come to the realization that this is actually an industry that needs to stay. And we need to project the culture of Nollywood. That is the face of Africa, to be honest. Just the way the music has gone international. The movie is finding it difficult to cross. And I'm going to ask you, why do you think that is? Or do you even think the movie industry is finding it difficult to cross international? Do you think it's necessary?
I do think, I want to sell my products to the world.
Right.
I feel like it's also because we don't have proper structure. That's why we're not getting some of the benefits that we should get as filmmakers. But then I'm also not going to blame anybody, because in a structureless environment, people are still struggling to make things happen.
Right.
I feel like we should come together more as much as we can. We should be less judgmental, because people laughed at me 3 years ago when I started YouTube. And it's baffling me that you are now on YouTube. You see, because you're short-sighted, and whatever it was that made you laugh, then did it change? No.
No, it didn't. No.
What you don't understand, don't criticize it.
Right.
That's
what
it. Because we need everybody to make this whole budget encompassing.
Right.
We need the cinema. We need
collaboration.
We need more industry. We can't be building Netflix. YouTube. The other one say Netflix is going. No, I don't think that. I don't think that's good. If we have a Netflix, we have this, we have that, we have more options. It makes it shows that the industry is growing. And then these platforms are coming, and it is still us that are destroying it.
Facts.
It is still us. Why that is, I don't know. I'll tell you, something happened years ago. So I sold a film of mine to a platform. Apparently, I'm just going to, let me use a figure, 10 naira. So I sold my film at 10 naira to this platform. I wasn't the direct distributor. Somebody distributed. So I didn't get to see the contract of non-disclosure.
NDA.
So a colleague asked me, "Oh, you sold your film?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, how much did you sell?" I said, "Well, I sold at 10 naira." Like, "Oh, great." 1 month later, I get a call. Why would you discuss the fee? We have an agreement. I said, Jesus.
Wow.
I told this person. I know who I told.
Yeah.
Apparently, he went there to sell his film. They said they're going to buy at 4 naira. Why would you buy my film at 4 naira but buy Ruth's film at 10 naira? Now, guess what? They can just decide and say, you know what? This is creating, discord and stuff. Maybe we should just pen the figure at 5 naira, regardless of how good your movie is or not.
I see. I see.
We talk too much. Now we destroy everything that we have. Non-disclosure doesn't mean anything to anybody. Some will even lie for clout, but at the end of the day, you don't know. Somebody somewhere is tabling your matter. You see, these are some of the things that affect us. And we don't like each other. Why don't you like me?
Right.
No reason.
You
just don't like me. Because why is she the one doing it?
Right.
But you think I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for myself. The first person who sold his or her film to Netflix wasn't doing it for himself. He was opening a door that a lot of every other person in the industry would have access to.
Actually.
So until you start seeing life from that perspective, you are always going to be bitter, be jealous. You're always going to be, guess what? There are doors that you might have access to, but you don't have the ability to bring. I don't know how to explain it. So for instance, you have the access to the room, but you can actually only bring out 5 naira from that room. But I can go there and bring out 300 million from that room.
Yeah.
But you see, instead of it to be me bringing that, let that door shut.
Yeah.
That's the mentality. So it's, we
I
can't.
mean, the hate is really bad. I think I talk about it a lot of times.
I think it's there, even in Hollywood. I think it's there, but the difference is that there's much more structure there. So your hate can't really do much.
Yeah.
You know,
a good film is a good film.
Yes, your hate can't really do much. But here, since there's no structure, everything can just collapse by one person saying, "Why do you want to buy her film? You know, why would you buy her film?" And it collapses. It's just a mess.
Yes, it is. I agree. We cannot talk about it enough, to be honest, because we feel. I keep on preaching love, but you know, it's just like everybody just wants to keep the hate going.
It's just what it is.
Yeah, and hopefully we hope that something good will come out of this entire thing.
The crazy thing is, the industry has always had all these problems and issues, but it's still there. It's still the industry is not going anywhere.
Right.
It's people that will come and go.
Right.
You know, I'm just hoping that the new generation will be able to, because I said, when they come, it's what they see.
It's what they see.
Yeah. You know, an actor of mine goes on another producer's set to work. And he was like, "Oh, this person called me for a job." And I'm like, oh, he's a great person. Go, he'll take care of you. Do you know what that means? He's going to go there with his guard down.
Yeah.
He's going to work because Mama said this person's going to take care of you.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing, I'll have someone else come on my set and he's refusing to eat. And in my mind, I'm like, maybe they've told him, be careful, don't drink. You see, the seed you are sowing will germinate.
Yeah, it will.
This is it. This is it. New people, the more they come in, they will still come and meet the same hate and bitterness. I sat with a senior colleague of mine, and this person was talking, and I kept quiet, and I'm like, "Oh, what are you guys fighting about?" And she wants to, and I said, "No, think about it properly before you answer." And then she said, "Truthfully, nothing.
Yeah.
Bro, do you know I actually like her?" I don't know if you understand. Because you need to, you get to a point where you talk down on somebody so much, you actually think you hate them. You actually think you don't like them.
Right.
But when you think about it properly, it's probably admiration mixed with jealousy. That has now...
that did not come out well. You talked about admiration and jealousy, which is just the jealousy is taking the better part of the entire thing. So it's coming out and is reflecting or projecting as hate. Yeah. Which most times you just admire someone. I want to ask you, do you have someone in Nollywood that is sort of like a mentor? Yeah. Do you have someone like that?
I admire a lot of people for different reasons. Okay. I love Mary Remy Njoku. Yeah. She was a support structure to me at some point in the industry. And also at that point in the industry, she was very, like, of course you can't cater to everybody. Right. Now I even see it more, you know, but at that point she was commissioning people, more than 100 producers for more than 4 years. They still do that now. But the point is, I would say somebody fed the industry to the large extent that they could. You know, I love Chioma Ude for her support, and you know, I love women that I love her and I admire her. I love Uche Jumbo, because Uche Jumbo is also part of the people that gave me she helped me when I started producing. Right. You know, the first film I did was a flop. It was a flop. I mean, it was her that helped me out regardless. I love Funke Akindele for the hard work, for originality, for the strength. It's not easy. There's so many people out there that I love and I admire.
I mean, I can't beg but notice that you just got all ladies. I can't beg but notice. You call 5 names and just
guys.
Ladies,
okay, let's go into oh my God, and I'm not a feminist. Please.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, it's just that women, as a hardworking woman, there are challenges, and you can't help but notice a lot of other people. I love Femi Adebayo.
Thank you.
Femi has grown. Yeah. Femi is a filmmaker. Yes, there's no I mean, anybody who says otherwise,
It's their business.
it's their business at the end of the day. But nobody should say,
Right.
like, really, people say things that they shouldn't say.
Right,
What
right.
are you talking about? What are you saying? You're like, really? Femi Adebayo, amazing. Which other person do I love? Okay, now. What's her name? This filmmaker. This woman that did Brotherhood.
Oh, Jade Oshibere.
Jade, yes. So yeah. I love them. I mean,
it's fine. At least you mentioned one man, of the 7 or 6 ladies you mentioned. I mean, I said this at a friend's at a Netflix event. I went for Netflix Live Camera Action, and I said the ladies are the ones running the industry.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, because I thought about it. I looked around again. I said the ladies are the ones running the industry.
Yeah.
And like, I'm also not a feminist, but I think it's encouraging.
Yeah.
It means that if the change would start, it will start from them.
Yeah.
Because they have the upper hand.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like a call to the ladies. So the big ones who are doing the stuff, including yourself.
Yeah.
Because which will lead me to this question is, what is the end goal for you? I always like to ask, because for everybody, I'm like, okay, we're making films, we're doing this, we're doing that. What is the end? And like, at what point or what stage do you get to? You be like, nah, I think I've done this. And it's okay if you don't even know it yet, because some people they just chilling with time. Let me just keep moving and just keep staying ahead of the trends.
Yeah, I would obviously want to retire. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to my husband for giving me the opportunity to be this woman that I am, for giving me the freedom. Like, I could just wake up and say, baby, I think I want to go to South Korea. He's like, South Korea, what's going on? He's not saying, what do you mean by that? So I'm a very restless person. I want to continue creating films. There's some projects that I can't talk about that's on the pipeline, but at the end of the day, my greatest achievement would be to look back and look at the number of people whose lives I've impacted. And that would give me
that's legacy,
the fulfillment that it's not the films, because people will forget. Tomorrow, somebody's going to make better films and stuff like that. But I want to look back and say, oh my God, this person, I was part of your growth, and see how far you've come.
That's really a good one, because I think about it most times. I'm like, you guys make films to when? Like, when are you going to stop? I used to work in radio, and it got to a point I felt I was done talking. Like, there's nothing to talk about again.
I know, right? But you see, I'm never going to get to that point, because I'm aware of this thing that happens to creatives. And like I said, YouTube is a platform that has given you the opportunity to fly. Oh, don't worry, you're gonna see me. I will enjoy myself in this business that I'm doing. I will enjoy the process.
As you should.
I'm not going to get into the circle of back and forth, because you get to a point you get tired of it. No, I'm not the one that some people will get there because they don't know that things like that exist. But I will.
So are you making films for? I know YouTube is your major, but are you considering other platforms? Netflix is not gone. The news is just misinformed.
Yes, we're already working on some
cinema.
things. Yes, we are.
What do you think of the cinema culture in Nigeria? Do you think it's dying?
No, I've not come now. How is it going to die? I still bring my own touch there. I'm not there yet. Can't die.
So are you going to join the December roster?
No, I can't. I can't do that.
Because December roster, the roster is full. I'm like. But so tell me, you're still going to cinema?
Yes.
Which is good, because I really want to see your films at the cinema.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, I feel like there's a place for you there.
Yeah,
But then there's still that part of me that feels like the cinema culture somehow, people are not. But then I just keep.
It's because we have too many people going to the cinema, but they're not bringing anything to the table. They're just coming to use. They're just there to use the what's it called, the templates that Imo Abudu has used and Omoni Oboli has used and AY has used. That's the template they're using. Come with your own. Come. You can't come to the table and you don't even carry spoon. Come with something. There, the table will be full.
Right. There was someone that because at the point in the cinemas, it used to be It used to be romance. It used to be comedy.
Yeah.
If you're not doing comedy, don't go to the cinemas.
Yeah.
Then Kemi Adetiba came.
Yeah.
She did a 3-hour trailer.
Yeah.
And we sat down for 3 hours
I
at the
watched
cinemas.
it.
And that just made me feel like,
yeah,
if you come with your own
you
stuff.
know them. People that know what they are doing, you know them.
Right. Now, there's something I used to do to close the show. I used to make a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before I make a film, okay, I think I should go to make you the film. I'm going to give you a story.
Okay.
Right. And the story would, of course, would have a lead actor, 3 actors, 1 lead and 2 minor actors. Then you're going to give the film a name.
Okay.
Just from the premise I'm going to give you.
Okay.
Right. So the story is about a young boy. So let's focus on the Gen Zs now.
Yeah.
Right. So it's about a young boy who is trying to navigate school.
Yeah.
So his dad wants him to be someone, but he wants to be someone else.
Yeah.
For instance, his dad wants him to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he wants to probably do movies.
Yeah.
Right. Now, that's the conflict for him.
Yeah.
Now, on one hand, he has a friend who's telling him, I think you should go with what your dad is saying.
Yeah.
Because your dad will know what he's saying.
Yeah.
And this other person is saying, pursue your passion.
Yeah.
Now, that kind of film, just based on the premise, what title would you give it?
Who am I?
You didn't even think about this. Because a lot of people ask this question, you're like, okay, who am I?
Yeah.
Now tell me, who would be the lead actor?
In this story?
Like the guy, who would be the main guy?
And Chididike will now.
So then the other guy, his friend,
Yeah.
who's telling him that, but I think you should go with your dad. I think the man knows what he's saying.
Yeah.
Who's that person going to be?
Dio.
Okay. Then the other one who is like, bro, just follow your heart, just do this movie thing. Forget what your dad is saying. He just look very rebellious. Like,
does it have to be a guy?
It could be a lady. It could be a lady. Let's put a lady.
Or Stefania.
You see, we made a film very easy. It's just execution that we made. Who Am I? Produced and directed by Ruth Kadiri, featuring Chididike, Francis and Dio. And overseen by Pulse Nigeria. But yeah, thank you very much for coming. This has been a very enlightening conversation. And I wish you all the best in all you're doing, of course. Like I said, I want to see your movies everywhere. Yeah. And I really hope that, we could talk again. Yeah. When he's gone to the cinema, we'll come back.
Okay.
And we'll be like, okay, yeah. How are you liking the cinema space now?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, that's all we could take on It's a Wrap today. Thank you for being a part of it. I'm sure you enjoyed or learned something. And yes, have a good day. Bye.
Bye.